The guest experience really sucks.
We're live.
Just saying. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source Podcast, the number one podcast. If you love yearly recaps, it's 2024. We got a lot to show you, including the set and the new camera setup. I hope you guys like it. We spent a lot of time perfecting this, and I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think?
This angle is the best angle I've ever seen of the shop. I think it's dope and amazing.
It really makes my chin look good and like my neck.
I'm ready to count your nose hairs.
Do it.
I think I like the way that you left some chin hair to like look like a nice shadow.
I'm glad you noticed that.
Should we use a better camera?
Do we have one? I think this is it.
I don't know. Let me click some stuff. Let me get rid of this ugly mug, and we'll try the. Hey, oh, look at that thing.
Hey.
Oh my God! Just kidding. Got him. Yeah. So this is it, guys. Check it out. Brand new studio. Looks pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked on it.
Heck yeah, man. Looks solid.
Yeah. I'm not stoked on this right here.
Ugh.
Oh, I'm stoked on it.
You.
I'm proud of you.
Disgusting.
I'm not stoked. I went to Target the other night, and I was just picking up a couple like snacks, just sugar, groceries, shit like that. And I realized like 15 minutes into the store that it was New Year's Eve. So the whole place was just ransacked. And there was literally no Coke there because Coke is better. And there was like a mountain of fucking Pepsis. So it's like, shit, dude. Pepsi it is. So.
By the way, whoever had time for 9:15 start time, I think it was We Do Widgets. Congratulations, you're the first winner of 2024 of When Will It Start? Yeah, it's pretty solid. Nailed it.
What a pro.
Got a lot of people in chat. If you want me to give them some shout outs here,
always,
we got Vince Nobucks checking in to say, hey, first and foremost, Kyle putting up some fireworks. We got Anthony from Beam It Up Laserworks over here.
Up,
Andrew
Anthony?
F commented first on the third comment. That's pretty solid. Laser Everything said, share this one, guys. Get the community to know that what we've got planned this year. We are going to not only talk about last year, but we're going to talk about this year.
This year.
So, yep, got Gulf Coast.
This year, last year, this year.
That's it. Saying, hey. We got Laura over at Laser of Love saying, hey, checking in. We got Cubing Cracked. Hey, Bronson. Right?
Hey.
Oh my gosh, there's so many more. We got Gretch Zeppelin coming in hot. Mike C, which by the way, got some exciting news from Mike C. He pulled the trigger at the end of the year and ordered a UV.
Hell yeah. We love that.
Congratulations, man.
He's got the all-in. Yeah, the next one down. He got
I got it. Yeah,
all-in-one.
Yep. The smaller form factor one that we were literally just talking about. Like I sent a picture of that the other day to the group, and I was like, "Oh, this is fancy looking."
That's dope,
right? Yep. And then Laura is finally trying to decide on pulling the trigger between fiber or UV. Maybe we could talk about that tonight.
Yep.
Like, what's the right thing?
Definitely.
Cockatoo Birdman Bill, Happy New Year! Better than all the years past. Yeah, because it's here. It's now. And then you got Vinny who was asking, where's Miranda tonight?
I saw her. She showed up.
Oh, yeah, because the very first thing she came in to say was how cringy our opening was.
Well, that's what you get for not being here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it was wonderful and amazing.
Yep.
I'd do it again. I think it's a great way to start the year with terrible dad jokes. Like, oh, look at us. We got Keith Etheridge. What's up, buddy?
What up?
Directed Tech came in to say, hey. So many more people. Awesome. And then We Do Widgets. We Do Widgets nailed the 15-minute mark. Nice job.
For real. Yep. I mean, I would say like on average 9:15 is pretty close to like our standard.
Yeah. That's why we're making sure we say hey to everybody. But we got Jack Broken 73. Thanks, man. Got Jack in the shop here as always. What's going on, Jack?
Hey.
Max W, Sherry Thompson, Heirloom Game Calls. Oh, Heirloom Game Calls. Those are cool.
Game Calls.
And then we got Michael over at ET Laserworks. What's up?
Nice.
All right, last one, Daniel H. Then we'll check in. And then she said that was definitely some millennial cringe.
Well, I'm like premium millennial. I'm like right at the top of the millennial.
I think
elder millennial.
I'm elder millennial, 1983, man. Boom, boom. So just saying, I love how I'm like yelling, I'm the first one who's going to get Social Security. Anyways.
And the last.
Yeah, there literally won't be any. It's all good.
It's okay.
All right. So, look at this. I'm going to star some stuff while you guys start talking. So you guys take it away.
Okay.
Thanks for everybody being here.
Well, I guess first and foremost, we have a plan for tonight. It's not just loosey-goosey as usual. First, we're just going to show off the new studio really quick. Kyle has remote control of the entire Odyssey setup that we used for LBX Live. And so we're just going to show you some of the different cameras and cool things about that. We've been working really hard on it this last couple of weeks. I think we're like at the finish line here. I have a little bit of wire management to do, a little bit of cable management, just to like reduce trip hazards. I got to gaff some stuff down, but it's mostly there. So we're going to show you that. Then we are going to go through our roadmap from last year to see how well we did checking things off the list of things we wanted to do a year ago. Spoilers, it's not great. We got sidetracked on a lot of things like the market and LBX. We'll be talking about that too. And then when we're done with that, we're going to share our roadmap for 2024. It's in the same exact format, so it should be easy to follow along. But let's give them a tour, Kyle. I don't know what buttons you're going to push, so you're going to have to dictate a little bit, and I'll try to demo for you.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, there you go.
Oh,
so we're looking at a side view of the X-Tool and Pepsi.
Yep, there you go. Is this the XF605?
Yep. This is the yes.
Yeah,
so that's the XF.
Pepsi for scale.
Next, we're going to the XA. Here we go.
And I will tilt the logo that way. So, hi, XA75. There you are. That's camera number 3.
And we're going up to the overhead to check for bald spots.
Check it out. Here we go. So this is what the inside of my can of Pepsi looks like.
Look at that backwash ring. So
you
clear.
You can see me here. I don't know if autofocus. I can raise things up without getting out of my stool, which is nice. So I'll be able to show you guys close-up shots. You'll be able to see what I'm doing while I'm working, and that'll be really cool.
Yeah. And then we're back to our head-on cam here.
Yep, this is the A cam. It's the Canon R6 Mark I. Still my favorite camera to this day. And it has a fixed focal length 85 millimeter lens on it, which I just set up today, and I'm actually really happy with the way that it looks.
Nice.
And now we're going to the over-the-shoulder Pepsi cam.
Hey, that camera is right up there. So if I'm building something, if we're doing some kind of like assembly of a laser or looking at some different materials, this provides a unique perspective. And also, Kyle and Matt have direct control over exactly what this camera is looking at, including the zoom distance. And it's a PTZ, so you get the pan, tilt, and zoom. This camera can move all around the shop and show you the whole studio. It's very cool.
Kyle, do me a favor. Go to number 2 with this one. So we'll show people. So the cool thing about this is if Alex is working on something on the X-Tool bed and we've got this ready to go. Oh, sorry. Same camera.
You meant like the stored number 2.
Yeah, stored spot number 2.
We'll talk about this camera in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the set, guys. Check it out. It's pretty neat. I've got shelves. You have like a real backdrop, a real YouTube backdrop. You can't see this light in any other shot, but this is the overhead light that's lighting the table, which is really nice. So you'll never see any of those dark, grainy videos when we're doing unboxings or anything like that again. You'll literally be able to just, see it the way I'm seeing it, which was the goal here. That's why we have so many cameras. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stationary cameras, and then over there I've got the slider bar thing that you guys will see in a later episode that I've been using the Sony on, which is very cool too. So lots of different angles. And this camera here that you guys are looking at now is also a PTZ camera. So if you're trying to see something working inside of the X-Tool, for example, the F1, you can actually zoom in while I'm talking live and check it out during the process. So you guys can see how it's going. And one of the best parts, just like that. One of the best parts about these these PTZ cameras too, 30x optical zoom. So there's no digital zoom here. You guys aren't losing any detail. So you'll actually be able to see right close up. I actually just did, grab it off the shelf over here. I actually just did this coin. This is a zinc coin right here inside of that machine. So that's exactly what you guys will be able to see while we're processing things. And of course, when we're done, we have the overhead cam so I can show you guys close-ups too.
Yeah, and what's really cool is if he wanted to show you something like the Pepsi can that was in his hand, if you go to number 3, Kyle, I think that'll be like stored spot number 3. That would like show you the Pepsi can in his hand, like if he was holding it up talking about it. So a lot of times when he's looking at stuff, talking, right? So literally,
is it 4 or 2? This one seems more like a machine overview.
Yeah, I think you just pressed number 4. There you go. There's 3.
There we go. Yep. Yeah.
So and that's the cool thing is he can show off cool stuff like that. Pretty snazzy.
Yep.
The coin that he just made.
And of course, these are just presets, but Kyle can zoom and focus at any time. So if I asked Kyle for a close-up of this coin, he would be able to go ahead and zoom in on it while I'm talking. And you guys would be able to see this even closer up.
Kyle's like, you bastard.
I don't know why he would even leave it.
Yeah, he's going. There it is.
Well, I can hear him. He's clicking. I'm here.
Yeah.
Focus.
And by the way, this is what takes 2 or 3 hours. It's really cool. Like, so literally you got to like play with the focus. You got to get everything just
you
right.
moved.
Oh, I'm sorry. The autofocus specifically on the PTZs is a little wonky, but Kyle does fortunately have remote control of that too, so he can dial that in. There you go. And you guys can see the close-up on that.
And he's literally like 20 feet from this camera right now. It's pretty cool.
At least. Yeah, at least. And then take it all the way out, Kyle, if you don't mind. And
number 9.
Show people the overview, or even on the behind me camera. Because we can show them the Odyssey setup really quick before we wrap.
Yep. So that's what's cool is it can store up to 10 spots. So this is 9. Or is it 9?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
And so you got everything. Looks dope, man.
Yeah. Can we see the over the shoulder PTZ real quick?
You want the overhead or the over the shoulder?
The over the shoulder.
PT1. There it is.
There it is. And then just pull all the way out and like show the
number 9 again.
Not number 9 apparently.
Well, just zoom out. It doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Just zoom out. And then can you point it over there so we can show them I just wanted to show them the Odyssey setup. So there you go, guys. If you watch the LBX live stream, that's the station that runs all of this gear and the rat's nest of wiring that comes along with it. I've done my best to do some basic cable management, but obviously there's still more to do. The mic that I'm talking on is actually right here. You can see it right here in the corner. That's the Rode NTG4 Plus, which is actually a really nice microphone. Yeah, it's being used as a boom. Technically, it's a shotgun. I could probably get the sound quality a little better. It is aimed a little high right now, but yeah, so that's what you guys are hearing. If I ever do another podcast from the studio, I don't do it often because it means that I'm abandoning my wife here alone while she's dealing with all 3 of the kids. But if I do another one next time, I'll have a little more time and we'll throw a mic here. So I sound a little bit better and you hear a little bit less echo. Speaking of the echo, one of the last things I have to do, I have 2 boxes of acoustic tiles that should eliminate a little bit of the echo in this room. Not a ton of it, but a little bit of it. So that'll help next time as well. But yeah, that's the studio. And the whole point, just to put a bow on this so we can move on, the people listening to the audio version of the podcast after the fact are like, they're angry with me right now. The whole point of this is that when we have a laser we need to work with, instead of me moving all of this gear from laser to laser to laser, these tables will now be on casters and we can just push this table out of the way and roll in the one with the laser we need on it in front of all of this stuff, pre-set up, ready to go. And it's going to be a much more high efficiency kind of like studio workflow. So if I need the fiber, I can just roll the fiber in. If I need the UV, we can just roll the UV in. Everything else around me is ready to go. We're just rolling the laser in that we need, and we can start recording. And I think that's going to make a really big difference. We'll talk about that a little more later.
A couple of comments while you were talking that I put some stars on. A couple of things. Kyle, can you go to camera, the PTZ in front of him? Real quick. Like he probably just logged out. He's like, you bastard.
I think that's M1. Stop logging out.
Well, and by the way, it is. So the reason, a couple of things real quick. Is it just me or is the bandwidth / quality low? Yeah. That's because why, Alex? What's going on?
Well, I have like $10 a month internet here at the office. It's always been really terrible. And I need to get better internet for the office.
And so
that's probably not helping.
The nice thing, though, is everything that we record is going to be basically like 4K quality because all the cameras are freaking dope.
Yeah, and that's something else. I put that on our roadmap too. But every single camera in this room right now can record in 4K, which is really awesome. And
the reason I wanted to touch on the comments is people notice the stuff. Like, so literally, we set up, I think it was Kyle, Alex, and I set up all these shots yesterday and today. And then literally it's like, okay, there's stuff missing. Like we got a white wall and we got the desk and we got everything where it's supposed to be. But now what? And so that's where Direct Tech was saying, love all the test equipment in the background as well. Nice touch. And there's a lot of little like Easter eggs in there, which is why.
This is all real stuff, guys. So this is all Siglent lab electronics, basically. So I've been buying this throughout the year. First of all, let me say, which camera am I on? This one?
Right here, straight in front.
This has been our most successful year ever. And you can ask Miranda, almost every penny that we made outside of paying Miranda and I and the employees was dumped directly back into the business to make it better, to make better videos, to make more informative content, to have more tools at our disposal so we can do new things. So thank you. Everything I'm about to be really excited about is thanks to our LMA members, most of which are regular live viewers, and a lot of our podcast viewers are part of. So if you're not already, go check that out, masters.lasereverything.net. But I've been picking these up all year, and I have plans to use all of them. And by use all of them, I mean I'm hoping Chris will teach me how to use them when he gets here. So we have a digital multimeter, an electronic load that's for testing power supplies. That'll be really cool later. Here we have a spectrum analyzer, which is the other half of an oscilloscope. Everybody knows what an oscilloscope is, but people don't talk about spectrum analyzers very often, and you actually need both to get a really good picture of how your electronics are operating. In the middle here, this is the coherent laser power meter. So that's going to allow us to actually test power outputs from different kinds of lasers. And the one we got, which was hard to find, and I had to work with Coherent to get this, will do UV 1064 and CO2 10600 IR, which is really nice. So we'll be able to test all three of those wavelengths. And then over here, we have an arbitrary waveform generator and then a programmable DC power supply. But there's a lot more kind of fun stuff up here. You can't really see it, but over here, we have the EasyCAD 3 board from the downgrade video that's on the shelf. If you remember the
fiber laser engraving.
What's it called? What's it called in EasyCAD? It's not cylinder correction.
Project Mark.
Project Mark. The Project Mark episode. I have the tumbler from that right here, and of course we're showing off the what the fuck, dude? Help me. What is it? What is this thing? I don't even know. Nobody?
Panavice.
Panavice. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Kyle, for being smart.
Forgot I was muted.
This is the sonogram of Nugget before she was born, and it was in our first ever photo episode when I had no idea what I was doing. Everybody who watches this episode, I tell them to go watch the Ultimate Photo Engraving Guide, but I really like this, so I keep it up here too. We have the slate coasters from our first ever slate episode, and we've got the pie burn and the Rotoboss over here and safety glasses. This is the 10 millimeter Galvo scan head from the CO2 Galvo when I did the 20 millimeter head upgrade. So we've got that up on the shelf and just a bunch more stuff. So it's not just like crap. It's like little pieces of laser everything history. Yeah.
And in case you guys like, so that's what my job was today, is Alex was like, I don't have time to think about what goes up there. So that's where I came up with like the list of all this stuff on paper.
Yeah.
We're like, we got this. And then he was like, wait, there's this. And wait, there's more.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like running back and forth between here and the laser shop, which is still just down the hall. Still have, because we can't fit all of the lasers in here. So the laser shop is still where it is, the way you guys remember it looking. It's just right down there. And then we've got 2 garage doors between here and there. You just open them up, roll the laser you need in, like I was saying, shoot what you need to shoot, and then roll it out and swap it for something new. So
yeah, it's going to make, and the thing is, like, when a lot of, like, we talk about all the videos. So like the reason I'm asking Alex to go through all this stuff with you guys is one of the reasons we couldn't get a lot of videos shot is that fluidity, right? And also, he's by himself all the time. But the good news is now, whether it's daytime working with me or in the later evening time with Kyle, he's got somebody who can run the cameras for him, which is going to make production faster and smoother. And then in editing, instead of having to stop and take the one camera, take it apart, set it up somewhere else, do a shot, it's just going to make things way better. So that's, and the other thing too, is this was kind of cool that someone said this. Mike C said the same thing that we both said earlier today, which is we need the Jimmy sign in the background.
Yep.
Guess what's going behind them?
Yeah, we have the LED sign that says laser everything on it that Jimmy and I made in the episode. It was one of his first episodes ever, where he came into the shop while we were still in the tiny office upstairs, and we engraved the acrylic sign for the first time, and he showed how he solders them and all that stuff. I still have that sign. It's sitting in the old shop, and that'll definitely be going up back there right behind me. I also saw Matt C says googly eye duct hose hanging above Alex's head is also missing.
I had that starred.
surely we will add him back here. I'll just snip it off from the length and we'll just kind of pin it up.
So a lot of people are saying that's impressive. They really like it all. Direct Tech.
You guys like it. I mean, we put it together for you. We want the content to be better. I'm a perfectionist, and perfection is unknowable. So hopefully we'll just continue to, improve things and upgrade things to make better videos. That's all I really ever want to do.
Yeah, and then one last thing. People noticed that Vince said that Boyce is in a different location.
He sure is.
Real quick, give Alex a chance to drink that disgusting swill that he's got on his desk. What do you got there, Boyce? Tell us about it.
Well, we got out of the other side of the basement where the brick and the wood kind of met by the fireplace. So I emptied out this old bedroom and set up new shelving here. And this is some of our finished product we have just kind of sitting around. And then I have, of course, a new setup here. So the fibers here, I'm going to put another, I got to clear this out. And that's going to be where I put my, whatever that thing's called.
Diode.
Yeah. It's a
Atom stack.
There it is. See?
P740.
Yeah, I got an atom stack. That's what it is. So yeah, I'm going to set that next to that. We have exhaust for both of those right there next to me.
Nice, man.
Nice.
Yeah, that way it's just going to be easy. I'll do more content. I can set all the cameras can be set up right here now.
It sounds really good in there too. Like the sound sounds pretty solid.
It does. Well, yeah.
It is not pointing at the wall. That's why I got everything behind me, more space, and I have the shotgun mic set up. You can just kind of sit in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I'm not going through the camera's microphone, which is not as great. Yeah, so this is a nice new setup for me. Kyle's been walking me hand and step and foot here over in this damn fiber laser.
He's been trying.
Downgrade, man. It's a pain in the ass. I'm not an electrician, right? So like this is a foreign language to me. He's like, oh, the common wire. I'm like, I don't know how fucking common that is, but all right, so I don't know what any of that means. So he's just
literally that common. I've never heard of it before.
Talking Greek over here. But yeah, so I had to go to Lowe's a couple times now and buy 16 gauge, 12 gauge wire, all that shit.
Boyce is the guy who gets tackled at Lowe's because he runs in yelling 12 gauge or something. No.
I need 12 gauge.
But yeah, you got so Laura was just saying how nice it looked, and Lightspeed was saying how nice everything looked over there. They really like the new setup, man.
Nice.
So
work in progress.
And then there's a couple questions about the X tool. I don't know if you want to tackle them now or you want to keep go forward.
We'll hit them at the end, I think, because we have a lot to get through. Kyle, can you show everybody the last camera feed that we didn't get a chance to look at?
Pretty sure we touched on them all.
Yeah, you did. You got every single one of them.
We didn't do the laptop.
Oh, I got it. I got
That's
you.
That's not a camera.
Boom.
That's not what I meant.
He's got to log back in now.
Uh-oh.
Well, whenever you're logged in, it makes your frame rate be really poopy.
Well, he can just log right back out. I just don't have, I'm not over there, so can't do it.
The over-the-shoulder shot. Really quick, while you're doing that.
Thank you.
Oh,
okay,
there you go.
Cool.
Nice.
So let me minimize this. You can log out. And so we have two things to go through here, guys. We have our recap of 2023 and our roadmap for 2024. So we're going to start with the recap. Let's talk about last year. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up so that you guys can check it out. We'll full screen it here. So the first thing, and probably the biggest thing that we spent a massive amount of time on this year, is the 2023 LBX experience. And that was a really great time. I had so much fun with you guys. We definitely learned, I would say, some lessons about what we will and won't do in the future at events like this. I think while live was fun, I do think that we will probably lean more towards like recording quality content over live streaming the event. Live attendance was kind of low and the quality suffered because we spent so much of our energy and resources just trying to obtain a reliable enough internet connection to do a live stream, let alone like all of the technical stuff that went into it. It would be way easier to be there in the moment, record the content, make it really good, and then come back home and show you guys after. So I think that's the way that we're going to go in the future. That said, every single one of those videos that we shot, all of those panels with the speakers at the event are basically done being edited. Jess is actually waiting on a couple more assets from me before she exports them. But those are going to start coming out soon. So you guys will actually be able to watch those interviews uninterrupted. So if you haven't already watched the live stream itself, or if you're looking for a specific panel's interview, all of that stuff will be coming out really soon. But before we move on, I just want to give you guys a couple seconds to recap your experience at LBX. And, what did you think? Did you have fun? What would you do different next time?
I'll start.
Yeah.
I thought LBX was awesome. If I was working at LBX, I would, like, if we were doing it again, pretty much what you said. I think it would be really useful to be able to, like, I really enjoyed with me, you, and Boyce running around doing like the run and gun style where we were capturing some really high quality video and getting to talk to like, because there were so many people from literally around the entire globe while we were there that it was like, it was just crazy the amount of people. So that's what I would say. Now, as a person who went to it, like physically there, that's what I was going to say, is meeting all the people that you see online and being able to actually like shake their hands, say hi, and get to know them. Like I got to meet Laura. Laura was awesome. She literally like ran back and forth, bringing us food. Like Boyce and I were just like shoveling food into her face that she would like bring over. And like we would put like the snack corner in there. So to me, that was what made it worth the trip and taking a few days, because these are people who I've either talked to or known through the internet for like 2 or 3 years, and being able to like literally, touch them and say, hey, nice to meet you, high five them, be a goofball in person. It's just really fun. And so I think that's what made it worth the money. And I'll tell you right now, the value of what you paid versus the value of what you got was definitely in our favor. Like it was so cheap. That was, if you've ever been to conferences and you know how much they cost, we got treated really well. Like that was, in speaking to Jason and Sarah and Joe, they definitely were putting that on to basically say thank you to us.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So anyways, what do you got, boys? What do you think?
Well, first of all, just nice to meet you guys in person. Sorry, except for
yeah.
Kyle, of course. It's just nice to get to actually meet people, and Michael, of course, with Laser Engraving 911.
Yeah, shout out to Michael. Michael was with us as well.
Yeah.
He was like at the Airbnb with us. He hung out with us all weekend.
Oh yeah, Michael. Duh.
Yep.
Yeah, and we weren't exactly ever hanging out because even Diana's like,
No.
"Did you guys ever get to go out?" I'm like, "Hell no, we were tired. It was late."
Yeah.
It's like come home at 1 o'clock.
It was definitely fun to meet everybody. I learned a lot about stuff that I always had interest in, as well, just like the broadcasting side of it. I think that's a pretty interesting thing.
Yeah.
And to see all the wiring was overwhelming. You know, I'm a physical therapy guy. I don't do wires, so it was it was daunting to see all that shit just sitting there. He's like, "All right, now let's put it together." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
It was like somebody go build a house. It's like, what? You
Totally.
know? But
Well,
that
hey,
whole experience was awesome. The food was good. I give him credit for that. But I hope we get to do it again. That's for sure.
We got it done. And I kept joking that you were going to be the muscle, and you were. And we would have been so effed if you were not there.
Well,
so I'm glad that we had you, man.
Yeah. That's what was really fun too, is like Boyce, as much as he sits there and says, "Oh, I don't know how to do stuff," there was nothing he couldn't figure out in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, totally. He was definitely the fixer for sure while we were there. Kyle, did you manage to have fun from Connecticut, dude? I know that you were kind of remote, but you were there like every step of the way.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there in person, obviously, but from what enjoying it from a viewer standpoint, and also from the days where we had a good enough connection where I could remote in and help control.
Yeah,
it was a good experience, I think. I really enjoyed the information they put out, so that was cool.
Definitely.
And looking forward to seeing what they do in this coming year, and also some of the cool stuff that they've already kind of started working on and throwing into the beta. They're already holding true to their promises and what they said they were working on. So,
man,
there's
some really cool stuff coming. That's for sure.
Dude, it's so weird. I'm not used to Boyce sounding so good. Like I'm like, what's happening right now?
This Mike's killing it right now.
Mike is crushing it. Yeah.
Well, anyways, moving along, lots more to cover here. But LBX was great, guys. If we met you there, thanks for saying hi. Thanks for spending time with us. I hope that we get to spend more time together really soon. And one last note on LBX. We spent tens of thousands of dollars on LBX. Tens of thousands of dollars to build a mobile broadcast studio. The good news is that it materialized into this. So 95% of the tech that we bought in order to just pull off the show is directly able to be utilized here for the studio. And that's why this all looks so nice. The vast majority of this gear was stuff we got with LBX in mind, and then kind of pivoted on to create the new studio experience. So just so you know where that came from. So we kind of double dipped on that. Moving on. Okay, so these are videos we wanted to get done. Like I said, it's a little rough. We got a little distracted. Kyle did manage to do the leveling a galvo head to your work table complete guide. It's a great episode. You should watch it. A lot of people have problems that are easily solved by just doing this. So if you haven't already done it, I would go check it out. The rest of these didn't get done, but we'll come back to those really soon. Next, the Lightburn for Galvo crash course. We did a few of these right at the end of the year, and we actually aired them during LBX. So we did get a few more of those things in. I also added some notes over here on the right because Kyle was able to knock out the trace, warp, and deform tools in the 4 tools you need to learn video, which came out this fall. And it was actually a really, really popular video. So if you missed that one, I'd make sure you check that out too. And again, guys, these are the slides that we made for the roadmap last year. So we're just kind of like going over them to see what we finished and what we didn't. For the gantry crash course, if you guys have seen it, there's a lot of stuff that's not on this list that Kyle did. I think you're like 6 or 7 episodes in now, Kyle. Is that right?
Something like that.
Something like that. So he covers the graphics tools overview, cuts and layers panel, converting libraries, running multiple instances of Lightburn. Of course, trace, warp, and deform are all relevant, so I added them to the list. He just published his QR and barcodes episode, which also applies to Galvo. which is great, and test grids.
Starring Matt.
Yep.
Yeah, that was actually like that was fun to make, but he and I learned a lot making it. Like we were like, oh, that's really good.
I always
barcodes is a hassle for a lot of reasons.
Show.
Yeah. That hashtag code 39. That was one of the ones that I intended to tackle on my own. I just didn't end up having time to do it. So I'm glad you guys were there to catch the ball on that one. The Laser Everything market, we built this like huge plan to create a massive online marketplace where you can buy anything you could possibly need for laser engraving. And the short version, the very short version of it is we did it. We actually accomplished that goal. It took the vast majority of our resources last year to accomplish that goal. And we did it. I'm super proud of everybody involved. I'm thankful for the hundreds of man hours, maybe thousands of man hours that went into actually making the damn thing just work alone. You know, not even pretty or easy, but just to function at a basic level took a ridiculous amount of time from a very large number of people. If you're curious and you want to know more about the journey that we took over the last 12 months to make this happen, check out the Maker Remix Network devlog. It's a playlist on the channel, and it includes all of the regular updates that we gave about just about every aspect of Maker Remix, more of which we'll talk about on the roadmap going forward. But this was really hard. It came out really great. It's up. You can visit it right now. It's market.makerremix.com. And I'll let you guys talk for a second on this one. Just kind of share some thoughts or experiences or feelings or whatever, because we all kind of put our blood, sweat, and tears into this. So I want to give you a second to reflect on that.
I'm excited to see where it goes. Honestly, like I think seeing where it's come from has been really fun. Like to kind of see it start with an idea, progressively go up and up and up the chain. And what's really cool is seeing people in the community who jumped in, like Anthony, Vince, oh my goodness, Gulf Coast, David from Laser, or both the people from Gulf Coast Laser, the whole team there. I mean, just so many people. And again, it's like that community that gets the people who you know that you're actually getting to work with and stuff. And it's just been really cool to see it grow. And so, I don't know. I'm just excited to see what happens with it.
No, you make a really good point, man. I mean, like so many people stuck their neck out to try to make this happen because they believed in the mission, you know, and they have businesses they're trying to run, making money they need to support their livelihood. And they took a chance on the marketplace. And I mean, even now we're dealing with bugs, and like some vendors from international areas have trouble withdrawing their funds after they make sales. There's a bunch of things that are still being worked on that still need to be perfected. And they're helping to make sure that that happens. It's always, as it has been from the start, going slower than I had initially hoped that it would, but it's going. You know, we are making progress and it is growing. And I'm really proud of that. Not just the people directly involved, but the people indirectly involved that, you know, signed up to make this something functional from the very beginning. So shout out to you guys if you signed up as vendors early on. We appreciate that.
Yep, especially the laser vendors have been awesome to work with too. Like they're always answering questions. They're back and forth with this within like anybody who's ever dealt with anybody overseas. Like it's always timely for working with people who are literally on the other side of the world. Yeah. So really cool getting to kind of be a part of that and helping monitor it and help people solve and problem solve and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yep.
What you got, Cal?
It's been a big learning experience. So obviously with a new site, a new platform that's kind of built from the ground up for what we need it to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of learning curves that kind of happen. And I mean, just like anything else, you do everything you can to flatten the learning curve, but some things you just need to learn as it happens.
Yep.
And I mean, overall, it's been a really good experience. And yeah, just looking forward to seeing it progress and see everybody continue to help other people out in the community.
Me too. And like I said, guys, it's live right now. So you can head over there right now and support people in our community. It's not all big corporations. It's a lot of mom and pop shops and people that you're sharing the live chat with right now that are running shops over there. selling stuff for makers. So if you want to check that out, it's market.makerremix.com, and we'll continue to work on that throughout the year. I have, again, notes on that coming up. When we
I want to also,
recap.
there are a couple people in the comments that said they literally just bought their laser. They just joined the community. They just joined LMA. This is the place for you guys.
Yeah, totally.
You don't have to go looking all over the goddamn internet. Go to the marketplace. It has all the supplies you can need for the most part. I mean, supplies is a big deal, man.
Yeah.
And it's just right there. One click away. Boom, boom, boom. Videos, the links, it's all there. It's if you're just starting, this is the best time because
I'll add
there.
a couple sprinkles to that too, boys. That's a good point. If you guys do have suppliers or places that you've grown to trust, and you'd like to do all your shopping in one place, reach out to that supplier and let them know that the marketplace is there. Maybe they don't know yet and they want to come sign up and be a part of the community that we built over here. That would be an excellent kind of little bonus there too. Lasered. You guys remember Lasered? It's our favorite show. But we got 3 episodes out this year, and we've got 2 left. We're almost done. Galaxy Buds Live, iPhone 13 is the big finale for Lasered. I still want to do season 2, Kyle. I don't know about you with Lasered Labs. I think that would be fun. So what we wrote last year, these were our words last year, we'll be tackling some of the most difficult industry materials head on to try to provide all the insight, technique, and of course, settings that you'll need to be successful with these shop busting substrates. And I think that would still be a lot of fun. I don't necessarily know if it's going to happen in 2024. I'd really like it to, but as you're going to see soon, we have a lot of other stuff planned for you guys, more than enough to keep busy for a year. So, it's a back burner thing, but it's there, and I still want to do it because this was like the first thing that I made for the channel. I've always been really happy and proud that we're helping people, but this was the first thing I made from like an artistic perspective where I felt like really, really good about what I made. And so I want to see it through. I really want to finish it.
It's also one of my favorite moments when you got zapped by a laser from Jimmy.
Jimmy shot me with the laser. Jesus.
Ow, Jimmy.
It wasn't the success, the viral success that we thought it was going to be, but I'm still really proud of it, and I want it to be finished, even if it's just the first season and there's never a Lasered Labs, season 2 iteration of it. To be able to see season 1 complete would make me really happy, and I know Jess is actively working on it, so I'm sure that's at the very least something you'll see in 2024. Next up, web services, other web services. This is a very poor way to treat this topic because we did a ton of work to make these things possible. But launching and expanding the Laser Everything Wiki, expanding the brand new Laser Everything Forum, those 2 were kind of wrapped into one. We have the new Maker Remix social network. Again, we'll talk about that. I have a slide for that coming up. I think we went through like 3 iterations of the forum and like at least 2 of the wiki before we settled on something. And I really, really am super happy with the Maker Remix network.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there's almost 700, like 650, 700 members over there now. So if you haven't signed up for it, and again, you guys here live, I know that you have. You guys are the diehards, but if you're listening to this after the fact and you haven't already checked it out, that's just makerremix.com. So just 86 of the market from the beginning of it. It's totally free. It's kind of got like a Facebook / Reddit / Instagram vibe. It's kind of all mashed into one, but it's just about making. And it's pretty cool. It's definitely in beta, and we have a lot of work to do on it. We'll talk more about that when we get to the roadmap section of today's podcast. But we put a lot of work into that. I count that as a check mark. We also did a complete overhaul of the buying guide. Our old notes said the buying guide is getting quite full and a bit difficult to navigate. That problem has been solved. If you haven't already been there, buyingguide.makerremix.com. Amanda, shout out to Amanda, who's done just an immense amount of work on our buying guide. One of the cool things about it is a ton of the links in the buying guide now take you to the Maker Remix market. So we're keeping a lot of the stuff that we're recommending like within the community rather than sending you to like Amazon or some third-party seller. You'll actually be able to get it from somebody in the community. Not everything, but a lot of stuff. And that's one of the cool things. But it's beautiful. It's easy to navigate. It's easy to find what you're looking for. Amanda's written tens of thousands of words worth of like awesome descriptions of all of the stuff in there, why we like it, links to reviews when relevant. So if there's something we've actually reviewed for the channel, there's usually links included. It's a great resource. The last thing on here we didn't get done, but I'd like to do in 2024 is a restructured web version of the parameter converter. The parameter converter is great. Shout out to David Christensen, who put together the Windows version of the Sharp param converter. We still really want a web interface version of that, and that's something that I'd like to see.
I think that Vince is working on that already.
Right, and I know I heard a little bit about that, but not enough that I want to give any details on the show.
Oh, yeah, right. For sure. And the only reason is because people on the LMA who have looked for that kind of stuff, they've literally gone on to the LMA and said, hey, I was looking for this thing. And he's just always a kind guy and is like, well, hey, try this. Yeah. And And so he was saying he's already got that going live. And that's one of those things. Hopefully we can get together and work on that. Speaking of all the things that we do for the community, that's where Makers and Joe a few minutes ago gave us a super chat. Thank you.
Appreciate
that.
Hey,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Said thanks for all you do for the community. And also thanks to you guys, like what all the community does for everybody. Like that's one of my favorite things is like, so one of the, I mean, I guess we're about to get to like me taking a job here instead of teaching this year in a few minutes, but like literally because of you guys, I'm able to work here. But the other thing is every morning I literally wake up, I have a cup of coffee, I hang out with my kids, take them to school, come back, and I just start working on the LMA, answering questions. And it's so cool to see how many people before I even get a chance to answer have given like such great things. So LMA kicks ass, great people.
Yeah.
Throwing it out there.
Anyways. And before we move on to the next slide, which I just did a sneak peek of, I do want to just mention there's a bunch of big things that happened that aren't on this list that I didn't have time to make a slide for 5 minutes before this podcast. The LMA parameter libraries went free. We garnered enough support from the community that we didn't feel like we had to bait people with a carrot anymore to support us. People are just doing it on their own because they like what we're doing. And so our give back to the community was to make those parameter libraries kind of free and open source for everybody. So anyone can go onto our website, lasereverything.net now, when they need help, when they're just getting started, and grab those starter laser parameter libraries for free, for literally nothing. Which is very, very cool. In fact, I feel like I should probably have the website up for this while we're sitting here talking about it. So let me just open a new Chrome tab here. So if we go to lasereverything.net, and this will load up here. So free settings, you guys, free starter settings packs right here. Scroll down. And you get the free fiber parameter library, CO2 gantry, and CO2 Galvo parameter library right here. We do get a lot of questions about UV. I don't think there's a short-term plan for a UV starter setting library for an infinite number of reasons that we're not going to get into tonight because we don't have time. But, you know, it would be very difficult, and we can talk about that another day, I promise. But it's probably not going to show up in this list. Where you can get UV settings, and this is the other thing I wanted to make sure we mentioned, was from our community parameter libraries. So we have fiber laser, CO2 gantry, and UV laser. Early this year, I will have Amanda put up the CO2 Galvo community parameter library. If you guys haven't already seen these, they're an amazing resource.
There's so much there, dude.
Anyone can log in and submit a setting. It requires that you post a picture, your laser source, a ton of information about your machine so that people know that they're either using the same exact machine as the person who submitted the setting, and if they're not, what they need to account for when converting it with something like David's parameter converter. So if we scroll down here, you can see we have a technical model number, We've got the software it was done in, what type of engraving it was, the lens that was used, the material, power, frequency, speed, angle, crosshatch, flood fill, line spacing, pulse width, pass count, the type of hatch that you're using. I mean, like, we literally tried to account for everything we possibly could in a way that still made it navigable. So we have libraries for this, community-built libraries where people are submitting and volunteering these settings, and they're pages long at this point. There's pages and pages and pages of settings on there for all three of those laser types. And again, CO2 Galvo will be added to this list very soon, but you can get fiber, CO2, and UV laser settings from these libraries as well. So even if you're looking, for the UV stuff, that's here. And this is a really great way to handle that because of the infinite number of differences between UV sources and applications. You can find someone whose setup matches yours, and that setting is all but guaranteed to work with very minimal tweaking. So I just wanted to shout those out as well because we didn't have it in a slide, and I wanted to mention it.
Yep, I actually found a nice anneal marking where I was like, ooh, adding this to my library. Boop.
Yep,
Because
definitely.
it was faster than mine, and I was like, nice.
Yep. And we'll drop that. Okay, last slide here. Shout out to Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for putting this together for us. It's our YouTube metrics for the year. You didn't think we'd get through this podcast episode without talking about metrics, did you? 2023, guys, January 1st to December 31st, 2,006,074 views. So we've just barely pushed past the 2 million views mark in 2023. Of those 2 million views, 1,628,394 were on videos, core content. 201,726 were from live streams, and 175,964 were from shorts. Altogether, over 260,000 hours watched, which is a very long time. I wanted to do like the breakdown of how many days, weeks, months, years that was, but I didn't have time. So sorry.
It's half a year, just so you know. Close.
Good. It's a half a year. There you go. 17,192 shares.
Oh, wait, no, more than that. Oh, shit.
It's a big number, dude. That's what I'm saying. You're going to wait for Matt to do the math now. 17,192 shares, 2,600, more or less, 2,627 comments, and 1,610 of you get notified every time that we go live, which is awesome. Those are really, really good numbers. I'm happy with all of those. 962 people hit the dislike button this year compared to 40,105 of you who hit the like button on something. So that's a 40-to-1 like to dislike ratio, which I will take. That's awesome. So thank you for smashing like. We ask you to do it every week on every episode, on every video, and clearly you guys are doing it. So we really appreciate that.
I just wanted to note,
yep,
260,000 hours.
But 29 years.
It's just over 29 and a half years.
Yeah, I was a little wrong on that. Half a year. I was off.
That's an outrageous amount of time. It's an outrageous amount of time that you guys have spent watching Laser Everything.
By the way, before we move on, if you haven't smashed that like button, go ahead and do it, even though it's the end of the thing. We're getting close.
Right. Yeah, go ahead. We'll start the 2024 off right. We added 219 new videos to the library, and a good handful of them were deleted. So that would include like live streams that we went live with and then removed them because we published edits, which is a practice that has since stopped, but this number would be higher if it weren't for that. And last but not least, there are now an additional 20,218 of you watching Laser Everything. Yeah, 20,000 new subs in 2023, so
that's pretty dope.
It was a great year. Yeah, it was a really good by every measure. We had just an absolute excellent year, and I'm looking forward to repeating that success in 2024. So that is the end of that. Again, thank you, Kyle, for putting the metrics together for us. I definitely would not have been able to do that in time. So I appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead. So we're leaving the past and jumping into the future here. Here is our roadmap for 2024. The first thing, and you've probably heard us talk about this lately. Well, this is the wrong slide. First, coursework, LMA coursework. These are our kind of courses. This is the planned stuff. Probably next year, you'll be looking at this page and half of this stuff will be crossed out. I'm in no way guaranteeing that every single one of these will be published, especially because me, Kyle, and Matt are building these courses by hand. Like every single lesson, every single chapter, we're making ourselves by hand in a very particular order. But this is the roadmap, which is, aptly named here, for what we hope to do within the next 12 to maybe 24 months, I think would be fair. So we've got a bunch of different categories that you can enroll in, majors, I call them, like laser theory, applied laser, or maker business. Those are the big three we're starting on now. I'm primarily working on theory. Kyle is primarily working on application, and Matt is primarily working on business. And these are all the classes that we've kind of come up with so far. So if you're excited, there's a list for you. You can check them out. I'm already done with L100 for the most part outside of the recording. So I just need to record what has been written. I know Kyle is most of the way through gantry and Galvo is done. Is that right?
Reverse that.
Okay, gantry most of the way through Galvo and gantry is done.
Yes.
Yeah. And Matt just finished Business 100, Intro to Business, and you're well into...
I finished 100 and 101, and nice. 102 is in the written thing. And for those of you guys who don't know, it's not only when it says Business 100, that's 5 or 6 different classes for each one of those things.
Like chapters.
So, yeah, and then inside the chapters, there's lessons inside
multiple
of them.
Lessons, yeah.
With quizzes, we've made worksheets, we made graphic organizers. So with my education background, we're trying to go through and anything that helps you learn, whatever that is, and by the way, this is actually one of the questions that we got asked earlier today, where Hate Me Gaming said, I'm tired of having a boss. How realistic is it that I can make $3,000 a month within the first year of starting a laser business? I think that's pretty viable, especially with and I'm not trying to say this will make you make $3,000 a month, but if I knew all of the stuff in one place where all of this stuff is now and where it's going to be, I definitely think that would make it way more viable. Yeah. And that's the thing. So will it make you make $3,000? I don't know, but different classes with all the information about how to start, because literally it teaches you how to buy a laser, how to get the funding, how to shape up your business plan to present that information. Yep. Then once you get it, how to use it, why it works that way. It's just a lot of stuff, man. So
yeah, it is a lot of stuff. And I'd also like to just remind everybody that it says LMA coursework, and that's because all of the supplemental materials that come along with these, classes and chapters and lessons is included in your LMA membership. But, big but, really big but, the biggest of buts, the videos themselves.
Juicy butts.
Juicy butts. The videos themselves will be published for everyone for free on the channel, just like we've always done. So the actual information, the core information, will be available for free for everybody. I won't budge on that. That's never going to change. So you don't have to sign up for the LMA if you want to just watch the videos. That said, you kind of do, because if people don't sign up for the LMA, we can't keep doing this. The only reason we get to do it is because of people that volunteer to support us. And so again, shout out to the LMA for making yet another thing possible, yet another resource. But we don't have any plans on charging for the videos. Now, that aside, Matt specifically is really leading the charge here in providing supplemental materials and methods to enhance the learning experience. Everything from like worksheets to assessments. Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, and literally that's where it's like the reason that we're recording these things with really nice audio is because most people are one of a handful of styles of learning. So you've got the kinesthetic learners who are the people who need hands-on. So literally printing out a PDF worksheet from the LMA as you follow along to take notes. Having, if you're a visual learner and a kinesthetic learner, being able to look at something. So creating business analysis sheets that we've got that we put up there for your business plan and business formation, and having those filled out. So that really, like, the whole thing is when you walk away from a class, you should wonder, what did I learn and how do I know I learned it? And that's where you literally you've got like a folder in front of you that you could take into a bank and say, hey, I want to start a laser business. Here is my business plan. Here's all the pieces of business, like an executive statement, which most people don't even know what that is. We walk you through how to make one and literally give you the guide and all the different pieces you need so that when you walk into a place, you are more professional and you can answer most of the questions, how to do business analysis, like local saturation and all that kind of stuff. So it's just really basic things, but it's just all in one spot and in one shop where you can go through the steps and get the organizers. Now, you could do it without the organizers, obviously, and that's why Alex said he doesn't want to hide this behind a paywall or anything. But again, it's just easy when everything is there for you. And for $15 a month, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer in my book.
It means that we get to continue making new courses, and also means that we get to continue doing just the regular laser everything thing that we've been doing this whole time. So it's, you getting double benefit out of it, because you're ensuring that the regular content continues and you're enabling us to work on new stuff. And I'll circle back around to that towards the end. One of the big ways that we're going to try to incentivize you guys to participate in this is back to that first slide that I skipped. Coursework X events. So basically, these classes, if you guys remember, like when we announced that we were going to be doing
Hangouts,
the LMA parameter libraries were going free, and we were giving back to the LMA for giving us the parameter libraries for free. The thing that the LMA was getting back was laser everything, like LMA events, which are like live sessions, essentially, where you'll be able to come and we'll be live with you in a Google Meet session, and we can have a conversation, talk back and forth, and work through issues where you're not just stuck at a keyboard in like a chat room, but like we can actually talk and work through stuff. Those did okay, but I think this is a much better use of that time. So essentially what me and the guys plan on doing is, once we have a few of these done, we're going to teach those lessons to you live. So you'll actually be able to show up and I'll have the entire lesson in front of me on Laser Theory 100. And today we're talking about how a laser works, and we're going to talk about gain medium.
Can I give you a really good one that I know people would come to?
Yeah, sure.
Cleanup passes.
Cleanup passes.
What's a cleanup pass? How do I do a cleanup pass? What's the special parameter for steel cleanup pass? What about brass steel cleaning pass?
Kyle will probably cover in his laser skills.
The applied laser.
Yeah, I believe that was applied laser A103 basic laser skills. We'll cover cleanup passes.
But that's one of those things where it's like, it's such an easy skill, but it's such a broad topic to be able to sit down for an hour. And basically, if you guys don't know, it's like $250 an hour to get coaching from anywhere from us. But I mean, if you went to somewhere else, it could be anywhere from $100 to $200, $300, even more, $500 for coaching. And for being a part of the monthly membership, you get to sit down with one of us who is working on whatever. So social media with Boyce, I think you're going to be working on some of the social media stuff with me, I hope. I really hope, because you know way more. Kyle with the application, Alex with literally like, hey, my gantry doesn't work. How do I do this? And then me with some business stuff. So
and the thing that I think is really going to make it special is that because Kyle literally wrote the lesson on cleanup passes in his basic laser skills course, one day in the next 12 months, that will be scheduled as his event. And you can enter the room with Kyle, sit down. He's going to teach the lesson as it is on paper with you in the room with him live, where you can literally raise your hand and ask a question while he's in the middle of talking. I think that's the best use of that event time. And I think that that's really going to shine in the next year going forward. Again, once we have a few of these, we want to get kind of like a queue built up, so that there's a little bit of a delay as we continue to work on new courses. We don't want to run through them all and then have nothing. So we're trying to just stay ahead a little bit, but I think that's a really good way to utilize that hour, multiple times a month or whatever, is that we can pick a class and just do it.
Yeah, and for me, like, again, going back to Hate Me had asked a second time, how hard would it be to average $3,000 a month? That's the kind of question that, like, at the beginning of a lesson, we could literally say, hey, guys, if you've got questions, put it over in the parking lot, which is the live chat, and we're going to come back to them. And then what ends up happening is we can, at the end, I don't want to talk the entire time. I have an expertise that's my journey that I've taken with business and lasers, but Boyce has his where he makes a completely separate product and a different process and different machines, and Vince Nobucks and Al Fernandez and Mark Garrett's. There's so many experts. Michael, like all the people who I just said, by the way, are people who are experts on our LMA who all the time are there helping people incredibly. Like, I'd love for you to talk to these guys.
Matt's not exaggerating. They're there like 24/7.
Experts.
Yeah.
And so it's like getting to hear from other people just besides the four of us, because we know this much, but there's this much out there. And so that's where, I was able to get a $25,000 open PO this year with a utility company. How did I do it? Is that because that's, if you're looking at $3,000 a month, done, right? Like you're 67% of the way there with that one, grab. So anyways, just saying, that's the kind of stuff where we hope you guys show up, but the only way you can get that is if people show up and actually talk to each other.
Yep.
So there you go.
Cool. And so next, we have Make a Remix development. So I'm throwing this up here. Essentially, Make a Remix is growing really fast. So I guessed earlier between like 650 and 700. It's 640 members who've made 3,396 posts. There's stories. I don't really know what they consider to be a story. I'm still learning the platform myself. There's 4 fan pages, and then there's like 30 groups, I think, and they're separate things. Fan pages are for like businesses, and groups are for like people getting together about similar topics. I did a screenshot here. Again, I just like threw these together 5 minutes before the episodes, guys. But there's a sublimation group, Etsy Ins and Outs, the unofficial Eon Laser USA and EMP owners group, the Jewelers group, the Diode group, the Pew Pew Parlor, the Mega Remix Market vendor group, the X-Tool F1 group, the Woodworking Projects and Discussions group. Really cool. Some trending hashtags. There's a question system where you can post a question and then it literally ranks the answers. Threads on the forum, blog entries, all that stuff, guys. And this all works at like a really basic level, but we haven't spent a dime developing this. And now that we're mostly done with the hardcore stress of trying to get the high cash exchange like marketplace situated, it's a very high stress situation. We can take more time this year to do the more like lax social experience development. There's a lot of stuff that needs work. All of this stuff that I've put on the page here, the forums, the wiki, the podcast kind of setup, audio setup, blogs, groups, pages, questions, link directory, events, classifieds, and jobs, all of those need work. A handful of them don't work at all, but it's a really cool space. And there's been a lot of people over there, like Vince and Jack in the shop are there almost like all the time. Every single time I log in anyway, they're there welcoming new people in. If you've signed up and you kind of poked in and it seemed a little dead, I encourage you to come back and check it again because it's grown substantially in just the last couple months. If you haven't signed up, you've got nothing to lose. It doesn't cost anything. And it's just a space where you're not distracted by Facebook or Instagram, and you can just be in a space with other makers that are there because they want to be around people like you. It's really great in concept, and I'm really looking forward to growing it and continuing to develop it, and also seeing you guys and spending more time with you. I don't spend a lot of time on social media specifically because it's a distraction, and I have enough to do as it is. So if you don't see me a lot on the Facebook group, or you don't see me a lot, on Instagram, or I'm not on TikTok making TikToks all the time, it's just because I literally don't have time, and I couldn't be more susceptible to being distracted if I was designed that way. So a space like this, I think, is really helpful and fun. It's a lot of fun. I really like it. It's fun to just kind of mess around in, and I'm looking forward to seeing it grow.
And I don't know if you've got anything about Discord on there, but
I don't.
We've also, that's been growing like all the time. Mm-hmm. We've actually added some mods. So Jack in the Shop, Michael from ET Laserworks, Andrew Farmer, Ace Master, Anthony Montez.
Yep.
Boyce is over there. I'm over there. Kyle, Alex, Jessica. I mean, oh my God. So we really appreciate everybody who is helping us out to keep that moving as smoothly and fluidly, because you guys are awesome, man.
Yeah, 100%. Discord is where our staff network is centralized. So when we're online talking to each other, working on projects, working on content, that's where we are most of the time, having those conversations, because it's the easiest for quick messages back and forth. And so that's a great place to sign up for. Again, totally free, doesn't cost anything. So head over to that. There's a link to the Discord and all the other stuff we're talking about tonight down in the description. 2024 market official launch. So technically, and I don't know if anybody noticed this, probably, the marketplace hasn't had like a grand opening. We're still waiting for a few final things to be ironed out before we make a huge announcement and tell everybody, hey, the marketplace is open, and spend money on advertising, which we still plan to do. But there's just a few last kinks where I'm just not ready yet to like broadcast to the greater world outside of our Laser Everything circle that the market is ready to go. So if you're watching this, you can go shop right now. That's fine. But I'm not going to pay for ads on like Google that are going to reach out to someone who's never heard of Laser Everything, marketing this to them as a viable place to shop. We're just not there yet, but I mark that as early 2024. We have action plans to solve every problem that we are currently experiencing that's stopping us from doing that. And some of them are just like on a time delay, and we can't make them go any faster. So when that's done, we will have a grand opening. I'll be here in front of this camera, and I'll put balloons up or something. We'll have a fucking big party and it'll be great. We're all looking forward to it. I think it'll be a big sigh of relief for everybody on the team, for all of the people that helped beta test, and for all of the people that are hearing about it for the first time. It's just going to be like a huge weight off of our shoulders. So that's something that's going to be coming really soon. And so it is on our roadmap for 2024.
It's a good thing you had that like large Pepsi.
Yeah, for sure, man. 2024, new tools, new insights. So earlier I was talking about all this great equipment we were able to get because of the LMA. All of this new stuff. We talked about all of the lab electronics that are on behind me. There's even more stuff that we've got that I specifically got to make content with that you guys have and haven't seen yet. So I just wanted to put a short list together. We have some new tools here that are going to make repeat appearances, and they're going to be extremely useful for us. I have a stereo microscope, one of the best that you can get on a consumer level. The resolution is ridiculous. It's got a 4K camera. I posted in the Discord a few times with some sample images that I took with it of like a microfiber cloth. It's like 1000x, like real 1000x, not digital 1000x, a real 1000x enlargement of the image. We can see crazy stuff with this microscope. So if you haven't already seen it, keep an eye out because it's going to be on the channel really soon. I got an ultrasonic cleaner. I've had a lot of people ask me how engravings hold up to ultrasonic cleaning. I know it's particularly popular with jewelers, so we're going to be playing around with that this year. We have a thermal camera, which I'm just getting ready to film an unboxing for right now. It's from Kaiweets, which is the same company that sent us the neat little multimeter that we used in our power supply testing video. So they just sent a thermal camera over. I think that's going to be huge this year.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I'll cover this in more detail in the video, but everything that we do with lasers directly has to do with applying a specific amount of heat to a thing. That is what laser engraving is. It's taking this much heat in this amount of time and applying it to stuff. And with a thermal camera, we can gauge that. We can actually measure it. I think it's going to be an indisposable tool moving forward. So I'm excited.
By the way, real quick, two things: cleanup passes in action, right? And then colors on a MOPA or a JPT.
Totally.
Just saying. Throw it out there.
Being able to take like real time measurements, and it does video. The thing does fucking video. It's nuts. Being able to take real time measurements and see what kind of heat we're generating on our substrate is going to be an invaluable tool, I think.
It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, moving on, the ultra high speed camera. That means slow motion. For those of you who don't know, you probably saw the very first and only video that I made with the high speed camera. It's called Chronos, where we just literally slowed down a run of the mill engraving to the point where you could see the individual laser pulses. That's unreal. And it's going to be a massive tool going forward when we're trying to break down how certain marks work. I'll probably be producing a ton of B-roll for Kyle's applied laser course with that camera so that he can use that to demonstrate how different marks are working. So we're going to be working really closely together on that. And I've got some fun stuff planned too. So the ultra high speed camera, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of. I got 2 polishing tumblers, one for wet stuff, one for dry stuff, like the green triangles or the corn cob. So we can try polishing coins after they get super deep engraves, or polishing off the bird edges of something that we cut out with a galvo laser. So I think those are going to be super fun. The high efficiency studio and the 4K video capability we talked about at the very top of the show. So again, every single camera in here can shoot 4K. That means you guys are going to get better picture. You're going to be able to zoom more without getting grainy footage. Jess is going to have more flexibility with editing, and the high efficiency studio should mean that we are getting through more content in less time, because it's going to drastically reduce the amount of time that it takes to just shoot something or just even get set up for a shoot. Again, because roll a laser in, roll a laser out, all of this stays here permanently. I think that's going to be a really big deal, and I can't stress it enough. Before this setup that you guys are seeing right now, I had to set all of this up around a laser and then move it from laser to laser every time I wanted to shoot something different. And we don't have to do that anymore.
It'd be like 4 hours just for setting up a shot.
Yeah, everything runs through the ATEM now. Even my computer screen that you guys are looking at right now is actually a direct feed into the ATEM that we can switch back and forth between live. So it's a really big deal on that. Moving on. So if 2023 guys, I kind of been saying this today to the guys while we were getting ready for the show. If 2023 was the year of service, where we were working on all of our web services, all of our live services, all of our converting stuff, the marketplace, we were really, really service focused. I really want 2024 to be a pivot back into content. 2024 is going to be the year of content. We've had many staff meetings about this leading up to the new year, about how we want to shift back to just making videos. And don't get me wrong, we made 219 videos last year. We did a good amount of videos, but I want to do even more. I want them to be bigger. I want them to be louder and better and flashier. And we're really in a position to do that going forward. So a lot of this list that you're looking at right now, this is our entire
lineup,
quote unquote planned video lists that we use in our task tracker app. A lot of it is stuff that we came up with last year and just didn't get to after that roadmap was complete. So a lot of it is redone, but there's new stuff in here, and we have another list somewhere, probably just in our brains, but I think we have even more stuff written down somewhere that hasn't even made it onto this list yet.
So much more.
So much more. And this is on top of everything that we have planned for the LMA coursework too. Because remember, each one of these courses is going to have multiple chapters, which has multiple lessons inside of it. And on top of that, we want to tackle this list with all of our regular content as well. So 2024, guys, the Laser Everything roadmap, if I could sum it up, I want to call 2024 the year of content. That's really what I want to do going forward. So, yeah, that's soak up the list. I won't read every single item on this list, obviously, but you can pause the video and look at it if you want to. There's a lot here.
Yep. And then the other thing that Mike C said, need a whole series on Does It Explode? That's going to be Lasered Labs too.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, Does It Explode?
We got a stick of dynamite here. Where's the CO2?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the 2024 Laser Everything roadmap, and I won't make Kyle log back in. I will get up and walk over to the.
I'm already over.
Oh, he's already over.
Look at this guy.
Oh, I know he's on top of it.
I'm gonna say real quick. I'll zoom back in for a second while Kyle's getting ready. I will say, never mind, because I was gonna read that and now it's gone.
Well, sorry.
Well, never mind. Doesn't matter. There you are. I was just gonna say I was excited for the one that goes, "What's in the box?"
What's in the box?
Yeah, that's
it's true.
pretty excited for that one.
Nice. Yeah, we have big plans, guys, and we're not quitting anytime soon. So we're still here for you. Like I was saying, I've said it multiple times tonight. We just want to keep getting better. We want to do more. We want to offer more. We want to show more. It was really important. You guys notice I have cameras all the way around me because I want you guys to see things the way I'm seeing them and experience things the way I'm experiencing them when they're in front of me. And so, everything is just this year is about the content, which definitely was not the case last year. Last year, we wanted to create a foundation for people that were new to the world of laser. And I think that we succeeded in that. I think we did a great job. Creating lasereverything.net is the place where you need to go if you are new. Like, you need to go to our website because we spent all year last year working on it to make it the best place for you to go if you don't have any idea how any of this works and you're starting from scratch. I mean, we have literally every step of the way, every basis covered for you on lasereverything.net for free. Doesn't even cost any money. So I really think we were successful. Again, I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of all our volunteers, everybody that was involved last year for building that foundation and making those services and all of that data and information and all of those learning resources available in one spot. I'm just super stoked on it. But this year I am excited to get back to content. I've been telling these guys every day at this point, man, I've missed making videos. Even just that goofy one I uploaded, the 2 watts of 10,064 nanometer power. That was so fun for me to shoot. And I literally spent the whole video sitting here staring at it. And that was amazing to just be
the
back
other thing is
camera.
We've been building the content on LMA, and I told Alex we spent 4.5 hours setting up all the different cameras the other day, getting them to where the shots were pretty good. Yeah. And he was like, "Sorry, that was pretty boring." And I was like, "That was the most exciting thing I've done in 2 weeks because it's filming stuff is so cool. It's so fun."
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that, man.
Yep, for sure. And I don't know.
I saw 3D HP in the messages earlier. I saw you over there, buddy. Here's a little sneak peek too. There's a failed 3D print for you.
Oh, guys. Is that fresh? Is that a fresh failure?
It's
fresh working so well.
Yes, that was.
Is that with the new filament?
Yeah, it's black filament.
Is that pro crap? You said you have to be a pro to get it to work the way you need it to work.
Yes, it's not behaving.
You should just go back to the old shit. That the dice roller you made looked so good.
Yeah, I'm probably going to, but that's part of the fun part is I have about 6 or 7 different filaments I'm going to be going through.
I have a miniature bust of
for my intro into 3D printing here.
I need to get the Mingda set up over here too, because if you guys didn't know, we announced this very quietly halfway through the year, but there's a new channel. It's 3DP Everything, and there's a link to it on the homepage of our channel here. where we're going to be just kind of dicking around with 3D printers. Certainly not going to be the learning experience that Laser Everything is, unless you learn really well learning alongside people, because I don't think any of us have a rock solid understanding of 3D printing, but we all have a very strong desire to learn. So we're going to kind of be cataloging our journey on the side with 3D printers over there. So if you want to check that out, there's a link to subscribe at the bottom of the Laser Everything YouTube homepage. Did we have like some comments and stuff you guys wanted to cover?
I got a couple of, we're running through. So Cuban Cracked asked at 9:14, like literally right before the show started, does the X tool, since that's like literally the focus of the shot over there, does the X tool work with light burn yet?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I haven't really started my review. Everything that I've done with it so far has been in XCS, which I think is how most people are going to use the X tool F1. I don't think that Lightburn is going to be super popular for it. I think most people buying a device like this are going to use the software that it comes with. And XCS has come a really long way, actually. Even since I did the D1 Pro review, XCS is like completely transformed. I didn't even recognize it when I opened it. So I've just been sinking my teeth into that aspect of it right now. I know that they're working on compatibility if they haven't already finished it, but I'm gonna have to wait to answer that question.
And
what's
funny is he literally just said, "Oh, sweet! I just came back at the right time from doing my first PMAG ever." So
nice.
Way to go, man!
Lucky. Yeah. So I'll cover that in the review for sure. And if I find out earlier than when I'm ready to publish that, I will let you know. But they're definitely working on it.
So Laura, when that conversation was going on at the same time, she said, I'm also thinking of like a second laser for tumblers. I've heard the new X Tool F1 is a fiber that engraves tumblers. What do you think?
Well, the F1 is a 2-watt fiber, and it's not really a fiber. It's just 1064 nanometers. So it's the same wavelength as a fiber. But I'm pretty sure it's some kind of like semiconductor or diode based laser. It doesn't actually use fiber optics. I don't know that. Don't quote me on that. But I very much so doubt that there's like an actual fiber laser source in there, which is why it's only 2 watts. That said, 2 watts is not sufficient for marking tumblers at all. I think if you're going to use this, you'd be using the diode functionality of it. So there's also a 10-watt blue light diode laser, and that would be what you're using to mark tumblers. It could do it, sure. I don't know if I would get it specifically for doing tumblers. I think you could get away with doing it. But if you want to buy a machine, you could get a small desktop OhmTech for $2,500 and just put a rotary in there and never take it out. And I think that would be a more efficient machine at that price point for doing just tumblers and nothing else.
And for maybe like, yeah, go ahead, Cal.
I was going to say even a 30-watt CO2 Galvo.
That's what I was literally about to say.
I'm thinking at that price point, though.
It's like 3,200 for that, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they've come down in price a lot in the last 2-3 years.
For the 30 watts, for sure.
Even in the last year and a half, they've come down.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something specifically for tumblers, that's probably what I would do.
This guy.
Coated tumblers.
Yeah.
Stainless steel, not so much, but.
Yep. And then leaving that one, we got the Hate Me Gaming had asked how hard would it be to average $3,000 a month. And Miranda actually mentioned that that's pretty much what you guys were pulling in when you first physically started engraving like in a brick and mortar, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think? If someone was just going to start a business up?
Yeah, and that was targeting, the local market directly and doing nothing online. We did very little on Etsy. Maybe 5% of our sales came from online sales, and everything else was local. We pushed local super hard. I think that it's doable, but I would not say anything professionally as a recommendation other than it takes most businesses like 5 years to fail or make a profit. You shouldn't start one if you can't tolerate that, regardless of how the market is in your area, how much demand there is. I mean, all of those things play an important role in your decision. But if you at the very first square cannot tolerate failing or not making a profit in the first 5 years, I wouldn't do it. So you
Yeah.
really have to be ready for that, because that would be very jolting if that was your reality and you went into it thinking month 3, $3,000. Don't get me wrong, tons of people do it. I think it's doable, but I would not risk my livelihood on it if you can't tolerate that risk.
Yeah, and that kind of jumps back to what Justin Laser had said. Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, because we had Christmas, right?
Yep.
Like 2 weeks ago, he had come on the show right before the holidays, and he had mentioned exactly that. Like, he basically found one product he was able to make like 10,000 sales with, and that's great, but that was through online business. So there's a lot of, finding your niche in the market too, which actually that's part of the LMA thing. It's just like, are you going to be a broad scope? Like my shop does in person. I send things out across the country. I've actually sent something to another country now. That was pretty cool. But like all kinds of stuff. And then you've got Boyce, which your focus is marketplace, like going to the markets, right?
Mm-hmm. And local businesses.
Yeah, in schools, that's one of my big things. So that's where, like, who do you know? What do you know? What can you make? It definitely wouldn't jump right into it. Would be I think what you said is pretty smart.
I'm so late getting home that I'm no longer in a rush. My wife hasn't asked me when I'm coming home yet, so we're in good shape. But if I wait another minute to take a leak, I'm going to piss in my pants live on YouTube. So I'm going to run and go do that real quick, and I'll be back in a minute.
Go ahead. We'll keep answering questions.
Yep. So real quick.
But that'll be a first.
You know why is he's going to do that? It's because of that freaking Pepsi. So 3DHP had said, did you see my 7-foot xenomorph alien I printed? If that doesn't make you feel bad, my God.
I saw the video went up. I saw the video go up. I did not watch it yet. That is in my view list for the next couple days.
Yep. So definitely worth watching. If you guys haven't heard of 3D HP, take a look at Jerry's channel. Keith had asked earlier, Boyce, around like 9 or 10 o'clock. He said, "What's that sweet green skull over your left shoulder?" So you want to tell people about that?
Okay. So,
baby,
this was given to me. Let me grab that. So all it is a canvas. And they actually used acrylic paint. No. Yeah, spray painted it with the yellow first and then a black outer layer. And he tweaked his settings enough so he could just barely get that yellow showing and get all that nice shading done. So this is just a gift one of the laser vendors gave me at the LBX. But
yeah,
that's
and
on
so
my list. I want to learn how to do that.
That was the I think that was Creality booth, and I can't remember who it was, like the name of the actual vendor who was there for Creality, because they have different vendors for their.
There's a husband and wife.
It's in the interview. It's in the
interview. Super nice people. They're actually from South Florida, like they're down here with me on the other side. But they had made that, and Boyce had like gone over like multiple times during the show, and he was like,
"That's badass."
And the guy was like, "You know what, bro? Here you go." And literally, Boyce was like a kid at Christmas. He was like,
"For me?"
That was pretty good. Mitch had said, "Hey, new member here. I wanted to tell you guys I've learned a lot over the past few weeks, binging and all the content. I've got a CloudRay 60-watt MOPA and a Gwiki 55-watt. Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the community."
Yeah.
Let's see. Jack in the shop. This made me laugh. He said, "My wife asked me to do a cleanup pass through the living room." That was pretty good.
What's those settings? Shit.
Yeah, I don't know, but it needs. I bet you it's fast and low frequency. Heyo. That was pretty good, right? All right, Tyler Durden, nice. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about him. Said, "Hey guys, love your work. I'm a new small company. Any tips for getting more business after the holidays?" What do you think?
Actually,
Boyce literally was just talking about it.
So I'm actually going to start the 21-day challenge for the sign parties. Guys, what's her name?
Dawn Marie. So she has a class. Dawn Marie has a class called the 21-day challenge where I'm going to do her day-by-day process. And on our 21st day, we're going to have an actual host our first sign party to generate revenue and business leads. Really, is what it comes down to, and get your name out in the market in your area. And so that's what I'm going to do. What I'm thinking is do it in January in preparation for February 14th. All of our signs are going to be Valentine's Day themed, and we're going to kind of go with that. And then you can that's something new I want to try to do
and hopefully share some good data.
It was a great episode of the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
You guys haven't. Yeah.
Dude, she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
For real.
She's got it down.
Yep.
For what I'm working on is in my area. So this is one of those like seasonal things, which is what we just heard from Boyce. Like, you know, we've got the Valentine's Day. That's what my brain was farting on. We got Valentine's Day coming up, but in my area, we've got something called the Strawberry Festival, which is huge. We live in a town of 35,000, and there's a few. Yeah, Boyce is gonna host them. So we live in a town that's got like 35,000 people, but it ends up bringing about 700,000 or 800,000 people to the area, and they travel through. So I'm working with one of my local shops, and basically I've created some cups and different items for Strawberry Festival over the last year that I've kind of distributed and shown to a few people. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's awesome! Like, you should put those in a shop." So this Christmas time, I went out shopping for my kids, and while I was out in downtown, I was like, "Hey, I'd love to put some of my stuff up here, and let's work something out." So look at your consignment shops. You can either wholesale them to people locally. You could literally set up a booth, like if you can figure out somebody who's close to you, you could set up a shop, like a physical shop, or you could do consignment where you put them there. And let's say I want to charge $25, they take 20%. So out of my $25, they get $5 of every sale. So you guys figure out what works for you on those items. So Kyle, what you got, bud? Anything?
For that, I would actually refer you back all the way, real old podcast. There's a podcast, we called it Tent Poles, or you guys call it Tent Pole?
Man, that's a very old
It's
one.
an old, but it's a goodie. It's got
Very
some good
good
info.
one. Yeah.
This time of year, I would be looking at getting prepped for Valentine's Day. Actually, I probably already would have been prepping for Valentine's Day at this point if I was selling stuff.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
That's your next major holiday where you can get in doing something cool. If you do portraits on canvas, you could get something customized for somebody's wife or husband.
What was the original
rings.
question?
Right there in front of you, it says,
okay.
any tips for getting business after the holidays?
Yeah, I saw Miranda left a comment in chat that said January is always rough. Don't panic. I think don't panic is the big thing because I panicked a lot, especially my first January or two. And the thing, I think it ends up working out. You make enough the rest of the year that January doesn't end up mattering, but it can feel really scary in the moment if it doesn't go well. And good number of my Januaries didn't go well. So I think it's a really good suggestion on Miranda's part is to just stay calm and look at the next thing coming that you can do. Like Kyle said, he'd already be prepping for
we'd be in February and March
Day.
right now. Because
Valentine's Day, you got holidays Easter coming up in the next couple months.
Just double down on the next thing and be as ready for it as you can.
The other thing that I would really make sure you do in January is take those 2 weeks to breathe, number one, and get your taxes shit in order. Get it done now, because then February hits and you're like, oh God, and you forget, and that'll just creep right up on you. So literally one of the things that I'm making a video on now that should be wrapping up shortly is taking January to revamp your shop and to clean up, because Boyce, Kyle, Alex, you all know your shop is just disgusting after you go through a maker fest, So literally running through. So take time to focus on the fact, go get new business, but maybe spend half the day cleaning up your shop and setting up some goals for yourself, and then spending some time too going out into the community to find places and people, because everybody's kind of doing that. And this is your chance to get in and meet them, because the guy who I'm doing with my consignment shop literally told me January is our month where we kind of decide who we're going to cut and who we're going to keep and who we're going to bring in. And so the fact that I talked to him in December, he said, yeah, by the middle of January, we're done. You're locked in for a year with us, and we're working together. So that's kind of the goal. So
I am going to push us along because I'm just scrolling through chat for the first time, and I see a lot of questions we haven't answered.
Oh, yeah, we've got them.
I'd say from here on out, we're on speed run status.
Yep. Okay. Any crossover videos where you're going to hit the 3D prints with a laser? Yes or no?
Yes.
There will be lots of crossover, and keep in mind that not every filament is laser safe.
There you go. Is it true that the laser is disposable? Talking about the F1 or the F2. Someone said that earlier on Facebook. So is it a disposable laser?
F2?
Like the
F1.
X tool F1.
Well, diodes in general are considered consumable because the modules do have a limited lifespan, especially if you're running them at 100% for like long periods of time.
That's true of any laser source.
Yeah.
All laser sources degrade over time and eventually need to be replaced. Even the fiber source inside of your fiber laser, despite being good for 100,000 hours of runtime, it's a good question based on something dumb you saw on Facebook. So
pretty much.
I hate that term. I don't like it. Just right off the bat, my gut's telling me no. Just don't disregard.
Yeah. All right. So Pat's pot page says, what's the difference between the plans? They wanted to compare them on the LMA website.
Cool. I'm going to run through them really, really fast with you. I saw that one and I was prepared for it. So let's go to masters.lasereverything.net.
You want me to switch screens?
No, I'm going to just do it here.
Okay.
Because we don't need to be fancy right now. Share screen. Entire screen. Oh my God. Come on. Chrome. Yes. Oh my Jesus. Sorry guys. I don't use my MacBook very often.
While you're doing that, I'm going to double check, see if there's anything else we missed. But a lot of it is questions that we've either talked about or while you were talking, you kind of already answered it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I will say...
Is it sharing?
No.
No, not at all. Okay, great. Yes, please switch my screen for me, Kyle.
So one of the suggestions that David had said is that there's so many functionalities and different offerings that we've got from the different platforms. It'd be really cool to see like a one graphic that says, if you're looking for this, like it has like the check marks. So YouTube gives you these things. LMA gives you these things.
Thank you. So here's the LMA, guys. Choose a plan. So really quickly, Visitors Pass gives you access to basically the members. So if you want to talk to people that are in the LMA, the Visitors Pass is a great way to do it. I've also handwritten, half dozen articles or so that you have access to that describe all of the different features of the LMA, how they work, how you can use them. It gives you sneak previews of every single channel or space, I think, as Mighty Networks calls them. So you can see what's there, even though you can't access it and really dive into it. But the Visitors Pass is great. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Alpha is great for those who want to support our mission without breaking the bank. So with Alpha, it's $5 a month, guys. And all that really matters here is that you are supporting Laser Everything. You get access to one space. It's the show and tell board, so you can show off your projects. And we have a couple chat rooms that you can participate in. So that's that one. Beta is the first real one. It's $9.99 a month. And beta gives you everything you get in alpha, plus access to our curated course library directory. What that means is it is the courses that we've built for YouTube in an organized course-like structure so that they're a little easier to follow along with. We spent a lot of time trying to make sure that they are in an order that makes sense learning-wise, not necessarily the order they were uploaded in. And you can also give feedback and participate in polls at that level, okay? Gamma here, $14.99 a month. This is what most people choose, and it's what I would recommend. So it's everything else, plus all of our exclusive Laser Source and live stream bonus content, of which there's hundreds of hours. Whenever we do the Laser Source podcast, if we have time, and often these days we don't because we're working on so many other projects, we'd shoot a bonus episode. Those are all up and available for viewing. We also have literally hundreds of hours of bonus live stream content up there for you, especially some really good old content from when I was running the shop upstairs and I would just sit in front of the computer for 12 hours and live stream me working on jobs. So that is really, really cool to have access to. You also at this tier, this is where you get access to our laser support forums. Everybody on the Laser Master and Laser Elite Classic tiers has access to these. So there's like at least 26 or 2,700 people in those forums already. If you want access to them these days, just because it keeps us really busy and it consumes a lot of man hours, you have to sign up for the Gamma tier in order to get that access. But that's where you're going to see dramatic increase in your ability to get help when you're having issues. And so we dedicate a lot of resources to maintaining those forums and making sure that everybody gets heard and everybody gets an answer. So if you post in those support forums, you're going to get help. And so this is where access to that opens up. You are also going to get access here to the expanded coursework, which we discussed at length today during today's podcast, as it becomes available. Of course, we're not going to rush through the coursework just to get it up and done. We really want it to be super high quality. So we'll be working on that throughout the year and uploading it as it becomes available. So if you want to follow along and take the courses as we're uploading them, Gamma is the level for you. Last but not least, we have Delta, and we'll talk about everything that comes after Delta in a second. But here, this basically mirrors the old Elite at $24.99, and you get your name listed during the credits. So you're effectively like an executive producer, right? So when we do our big credit roll at the end of our core content episodes, your name's going to go ahead and show up there. Everything after that, everything after Delta, so we have Epsilon, Theta, and Lambda. These are just for crazy people that want to give more money than they need to because they really are super enthusiastic about supporting Laser Everything. And to those handful of people that have begged for this, we're very grateful for you, and we're very excited to be able to offer this. But you do not, I can't be any more clear, do not get anything on top of Delta for signing up for these tiers. And the people who signed up for that, they know that. I've had a very small and very vocal group of people hounding me for these options for a very long time. So with the refresh, we wanted to make sure we gave a few different options for those people to be able to execute on that, essentially.
Yeah,
so
just as a place to like point and say, here you go.
For the average normal people, don't even worry about anything past Delta. Delta is where the upgradeification of your access ends. Again, shout out to the crazies like me who go all or nothing and go for those super high tiers. But the alpha, beta, gamma, and delta are really what you are after if you're looking to unlock certain chunks of access. So hopefully that makes more sense. If you still have questions, you can always email us and we'd be happy to get to them, or we can get a little more specific on next week's podcast. But I do want to keep.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we only got a couple last things, and that's where David Pekarsky had said, I really think this is actually a cool idea to have maybe on the lasereverything.net website would be like a matrix that said, like, here's the features that if you're looking for these things, here's where you can go.
Yeah.
Like a little chart. That'd be really dope.
I read this comment too. I love that idea. What I'm going to ask you to do, David, is after the live stream is over, leave that as a comment because that's like guaranteed I will see it and make sure that I add it to one of our to-do lists somewhere. So please leave this as a comment after the stream is over. That would be great. So
that's a good Amanda thing. And then the last question is literally just a nice straightforward laser question.
Yep.
What do you all recommend 130 to 150 watt CO2 with a larger work area? I've got 150 watt 24 by 36, so 2 foot by 3 foot bed. It serves me really well. If I could go back and buy the 3655, I would say in the past 4 years, I've only needed that. Like someone's only asked me to do a job 4 times that I've not been able to actually reproduce it by taking the pass-throughs and using them effectively with print and cut. But if that's something where I guess I could do it, but honestly, for my workspace and what I need, I think the 24 by 36 is pretty solid. So yeah, that'd be my thing. What do you got, Kyle?
For that wattage range, if you're trying to cut like 3/4 inch or something, or 1/2 inch, a lot of the time, and you need a massive work bed, maybe check out Light Objects, like huge flatbed. I can't remember the model name off the top of my head, but
what is that called?
Alex, do you recall?
I think that like the Legend would be a good pick. So yeah, I had a couple different suggestions. That's not the super big flatbed that you're thinking about, Kyle, but they do make the Legend available in like 130 to 150 watt range. So if you have a low budget, the big boy ohm techs are great.
Yep,
the big boy ohm techs are great. They take some elbow grease. They need a little TLC to do the best job that they can. It's like buying a lower end 3D printer. They can be amazing. You just have to put a little effort into them and replace some parts.
And when you know how to work those things, they work.
They're great. That's the low budget option. If you're looking for something middle of the road, check out Light Object. Light Object makes great, just across the board, check marks on everything, solid machines. The Legend sounds like it would be the class of machine you're looking for as far as wattage and work area. It's much bigger than it looks in the picture. The thing's huge. Third, if you want a turnkey solution, you want to plug it in and start, check out like Eon Lasers Nova line of lasers. Nice big work beds available on those, a whole crazy range of wattages that you have access to. And
thunders.
They need nothing. They will show up and you crack the case open and plug it in and they will just do stuff. So that would be your high budget, low startup effort option.
Like the bells and whistles kind of came with it.
Yeah.
But the good news is almost every one of those companies that we talked about, whether it's Thunder, like Boyce had mentioned, I've got a Boss. Kyle has the Blue Poo back there. We got like most of them come with warranties and
max
service.
Effort, low budget.
Yeah. But a lot of those machines come so literally the ones that Alex listed, Boyce listed, or I listed have the warranties and really good service options and people who will work with you through phone calls and emails, and like their names of places and people that we know do good work. So, and that's where Kyle was saying max effort. Like sometimes it's all you trying to figure it out, and that's where it hurts. Yeah. So
mine came with a warranty. It just didn't execute.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we do these tests.
I became the warranty. Right?
Yeah. Look at me. I am the warranty now.
Yeah. Look at me.
Speaking of painful, we're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been a long podcast. I don't think any of us intended for this to go beyond an hour, but I really wanted to make sure that we took the time to talk about this. The roadmaps and the recaps are really important to me. They're really important just for me to say it out loud and have some accountability with you guys and have accountability with my team, so that we're all on the same page moving forward into the new year together about what it is we want to create and how we want to utilize the opportunity that you've given us to exist. So this has been a really important episode of the podcast for me personally, and I hope you guys found it was informative and helpful. If you have any other feedback, suggestions, episode ideas, literally anything, like post it as a comment in this video. Leave a comment in this video and let me know. I read all of the comments. I respond to as many as humanly possible for me. We're well out of range of me being able to respond to every single one, which is regrettable and sucks and pains me every day. But I read them all. I read every single comment. So if you have any kind of feedback, please leave it for me as a comment below. If you enjoy our content over here at Laser Everything, go sign up for the LMA. I strongly believe there's never been a better time to do so. I think that the value you're going to get out of your membership this year will be the best that it's ever been. And we've got a lot of really exciting things planned for this year. Like I said, last year, the LMA funded our services and our foundational approach to helping people in need with an easy to access and free set of resources. And I think we accomplished that task. This year, I really want to circle back around to content. And so 2024 going to be the year of content. We've all got big plans, big ideas, and a very long list of things to do. So if you want to help us out with that, please go sign up for the LMA. Find out more over at masters.lasereverything.net. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, smash the bell icon so that you get notified the next time we go live or upload a new video, and hit the like button if you haven't already. I know we mentioned it at the top of the show. Go ahead and thwack it on the way out as well. I think I love it. And
Merch.
Go buy some merch. There's a link on the website.
Discord,
LaserEngraving.net. YouTube. June. I don't know, guys. I'm tired. My wife definitely wants me home right now, so I'm gonna go unload 1 or 2 children from her and
go to your freaking home.
Go to your freaking home. You don't have to go home, but
you know what?
Stay here.
Community said they're joining. Thank you, community, for being here since the beginning of the show all the way to now. And all you guys, Pats, Pods, Direct Tech, Gulf Coast, Jack, Makers of Joe. Yeah, 44 people need to go to bed. So
I hope you guys like the new studio, by the way, and we've got a lot of new content as always coming out for you really, really soon. So stick around, share the channel with somebody you care about, and we will see you in the next one.
In the next year. Wait, that's not right.
This year.